The basement of the Shandong Provincial Museum smelled of old paper and oxidized metal. In 1962, an archivist named Li Wei lifted a 300-year-old bronze bell from a wooden crate, and the bell rang. No one had touched it. The inscription on its rim read, "Rung when the Immortal departed." Liu Yan had died in 589 CE. The bell had not sounded in 1400 years. In the summer of 1962, the Shandong Provincial Museum received a donation from a village elder in Kufu County. He surrendered 17 bronze artifacts, among them a small temple bell. The donor claimed his family had guarded it for generations. Museum records note the bell's dimensions: 40 centimeters tall, 32 centimeters in diameter at its mouth, weighing approximately 11 kilograms. The casting bore intricate patterns of stylized clouds and stylized dragons, symbols reserved for sacred objects connected to imperial authority. But the most striking feature was the inscription on its lower section, referencing what officials called the last Immortal. The inscription on the bell's lower section consisted of 12 characters in formal clerical script. Translated, they read, "When the Immortal departs, this bell shall ring." The characters match those found in historical records from the 6th century CE. According to the Jinshu, the official history of the Sui dynasty compiled in 636 CE, a man named Liu Yan claimed to have lived for 300 years and served 5 different dynasties. The text stated that when Liu Yan died in 589 CE, a bell in a local temple rang on its own, without human intervention. When Li Wei placed the bell on the examination table, the bronze was cold. Not room temperature cold, but the deep cold of cellars and forgotten places. He documented the weight, the measurements, the patina patterns. Then he set down his pencil, leaned close to read the inscription under a lamp, and heard it. A single clear tone, pure as water, resonating from the bell's throat. The sound lasted exactly 4 seconds. The museum's incident report filed that same afternoon noted, "No mechanism found inside, no external force applied, cause unknown." Museum officials called in metallurgists from the Provincial Academy. Their report, dated September 1962, confirmed the bell's composition: 80% copper, 15% tin, with trace amounts of lead and zinc. The alloy matched known samples from the late 6th century. No hidden striker, no external mechanism. The bell's suspended clapper showed no wear, suggesting it had rarely been rung in its lifetime. The officials concluded the sound was an acoustic anomaly, possibly triggered by temperature change. They did not explain how temperature change produces a single, perfectly timed tone. In 1987, a historian named Wang Qingfeng published an article in the Journal of Chinese Antiquities. He had traced Liu Yan's biography across multiple historical sources. The Jinshu described Liu Yan as a court official who witnessed the fall of one dynasty and the rise of another. Other texts named him as a Buddhist layman who studied under masters from India. Wang noted that Liu Yan's death in 589 CE coincided exactly with the construction records of Kaiyuan Temple in Kofu, the same temple mentioned in connection with the bell. The temple's founding date, according to stele inscriptions, was the year Liu Yan died. Modern scholars consider Liu Yan a folk hero whose lifespan was exaggerated by later storytellers. The 300 years is read as a metaphor for his unusual longevity as a government servant, perhaps serving under multiple emperors over 6 decades. The bell's spontaneous ringing is explained as coincidence or folklore, a story invented to dramatize the passing of a respected elder. According to this view, the bell was a standard temple instrument, its inscription added later to commemorate a beloved figure. The ring on the day of discovery is attributed to settling vibrations in the aged bronze, a detail overlooked in most discussions. The bell's inscription uses the verb depart rather than die. In classical Chinese, these are distinct words. Dr. Chen Weilin of Peking University noted this in a 2021 lecture that received little attention. The verb depart carries connotations of spiritual transition, not merely biological death. Liu Yan is described not as a man who merely lived long, but as someone who achieved a specific state. The bell was not an alarm, it was a signal. What if the bell was not cast after Liu Yan's death, but before it? Metallurgical analysis suggests the bell's alloy is consistent with 6th century bronze, but casting techniques show refinements unusual for the period. The lip profile and the decorative patterns share characteristics with bells from the 5th century. Perhaps Liu Yan did not commission the bell. Perhaps he discovered it. Perhaps he understood what it was for and chose his moment accordingly. If the bell was designed to mark a specific occurrence, Liu Yan's death was not the cause of the ringing. It was the response. The bell sits in a climate-controlled case in the Shandong Museum's storage wing. It is not on public display. In 2019, a researcher requested to examine it and reported an odd sensation. The bell's surface remained cool no matter how long she held it. Her notes, shared with colleagues, describe the metal as refusing warmth. The museum has declined further requests for direct examination. When asked about the 1962 incident, a spokesperson said only, "The bell has not rung since." The inscription asks us to consider what it means to depart. Liu Yan served 5 dynasties and studied under masters whose names are now barely remembered. He witnessed the collapse of one civilization and the rise of another. The bell he encountered, or perhaps commissioned, was designed to sound at a specific moment. 14 centuries later, it sounded once in the hands of an archivist who was only doing his job. What had he done that satisfied the bell's condition, and why has it remained silent since? Was Liu Yan the last immortal, or is he still waiting for the bell to ring again? Next on Phantom Atlas, the terracotta warrior whose tomb has never been opened, the Ming Dynasty engineer who vanished with his blueprints, and the village in Sichuan province where the dead still send messages. Subscribe to Phantom Atlas for new episodes every week, and join us as we continue to map the world that was.